Back inside the Georgia Dome here in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's check in downstairs with Evan Washburn. Evan.
Well, Greg, as you mentioned, Julio Jones is out today with that hip injury. I was able to speak with Jones briefly during warm-ups. His message was just that, a disappointment that he can't help his team. So with Jones out, Roddy White and the rest of these wide receivers for the Falcons have to pick up their production. We spoke with White on Friday. He felt like the Steelers secondary, which has given up the big play, could be exposed. Greg?
All right, Evan, thank you. Julio Jones, a bystander today. Pittsburgh won the toss. They will receive. Marcus Wheaton is deep for the Steelers. And as is par for the course, the Steelers travel well. There feels like there are as many Steeler fans here as there are Atlanta Falcons fans. Boy, there are a lot of towels in the stands.
Well, there are towels everywhere, and as you mentioned, when it came out of the locker room, you could really feel their presence.
This will not be returned, and so Pittsburgh will start from its own 20-yard line. That means Ben Roethlisberger, who has been lights out in his 11th NFL season, 29 touchdown passes. His next will be 250 for his career. And Trent, you and I were talking about him, maybe one of the real keys for Ben. He's been healthy this year. It's been tremendous, the protection that he's gotten from the offensive line, but also having the balance of the running game. He's been able to get the ball out of his hands quickly because defenses aren't worried as much about the pass as they have been in the last few years because of the type of season Le'Veon Bell is having. Steelers from the 20, and Ben will throw. Close to a first down, near the 30-yard line. It'll be just short to Antonio Brown. Pittsburgh's offensive line has been rock solid this year. Right tackle Marcus Gilbert not going today. Mike Adams starts, and several electrifying backs and receivers on offense, including the league's leading receiver, Antonio Brown, 105 catches, 11 touchdowns. Well, and I think that last play is another indicator as to why Ben hasn't been taking hits. The ball coming out of his hands so quickly. On second and short yardage. This is Bell. And Bell will get the first down as he nudges it just across the 30-yard line. Tough duty today for Croy, Bierman, and the rest of the Atlanta front. What do? Put the clamps on Le'Veon Bell, pressure Ben Roethlisberger. In Atlanta's 2-linebacker, 5-defensive back set, number 55, Paul Worlow, in the top 10 in Pro Bowl voting for his position. And in the secondary, Coach Mike Smith told his second-year defensive back, Desmond Trufant, will spend most of his day on Antonio Brown. Roethlisberger. There is 84. Antonio Brown for another first down out to the 49-yard line. And you can see the respect that the Falcons have for Antonio Brown's speed, just the cushion. Desmond Trufant in coverage here. Look at the cushion he's giving him. He doesn't want to get beat over the top, so that's going to allow the underneath route. With the play action pass, the linebackers have to stay near the line of scrimmage. That's going to leave the middle of the field open if they want to do that moving forward the rest of the day. It's a heck of a quandary for a defense, isn't it? What do? You look for Le'Veon Bell, you look for Antonio Brown, then you've got Martavis Bryant and a couple of good tight ends as well. Bell not going anywhere on this carry. Time for us to go green. Trent. Well, this is a play they've had a lot of success with, and they actually just ran this play, the previous one, before we decided to take it go green. It's the counter power. You're pulling a guard, you're bringing the tight end through. Le'Veon Bell has such great patience, allowing those blockers to set up the lanes, and then he has the speed and the burst to be able to get through. But that's a play that they've leaned on, both going right and left, because of the athleticism of their offensive line and their ability to get out in space. Roethlisberger spreading the field on 2nd and 9. Quick pass far side, complete. Martavis Bryant. Bryant with a first down inside the Atlanta 40 to the 36-yard line, brought down by Dwight Lowry. This is something Mike Nolan and I talked about with him this weekend. The defensive coordinator for the Falcons is the ability of the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and it's really almost a triple option threat for the quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger could hand that ball off if he sees the defense collapse. You can throw the quick pass to the outside like he did on that down,
or you can get to the play action and push the ball up the field. It really puts the defense in a bind.
Pittsburgh now from the Falcons 36. Play fake. Roethlisberger flips it out. Le'Veon Bell. Bell gets himself another first down. Paul Warlow making the stop. We were talking with Le'Veon Bell about his feel for coming out of the backfield and his timing.
And that was a perfect example of that, understanding, when Roethlisberger is going through his progressions and when he gets to his checkdowns. And Le'Veon was telling us that early in the season he was getting to his spot too quick and turning around, so that would draw the attention of the defense. Now he understands the timing of it and when he needs to release into his route.
Two tight ends, first down at the 25. Bell showing that patience to the 20.
Well, it's one thing to have patience. There's a lot of running backs that have patience, but what Le'Veon Bell has is he has the ability to go to full speed in a hurry. So with that patience, he can wait and let those things open up, let the blockers get their assignments and find that lane. But when he finds that lane, he's able to burst through it and pick up big game like he did.
Are you saying it doesn't do you any good to slow it down if you can't pick it up again when you need it?
That's right. You can have all the patience in the world, but you got to have the ability to burst.
2nd and 5. And Bell now takes up a position behind Roethlisberger. The pitch for him. Trying to pick his way through the defense, makes his way back to the line of scrimmage. Paul Warlow again in on the tackle for Atlanta.
And Greg, that's a perfect example of what we were just talking about. His ability to pick up at fast speed from a stop. Here he stopped. It looks like it's going to be a 3-yard loss, a 4-yard loss. But his ability and his speed and his vision to cut is what makes him so special.
3rd and 5 for the Steelers now at the Atlanta 20. First third down of the day faced by Roethlisberger. Eludes one tackler, throwing incomplete. Was hit from behind as he let go by Croy Bierman. Croy Bierman told us yesterday, what do you have to do with Roethlisberger? Go after his throwing arm.
He said you have to sack his arm. And watch, the first time Croy Bierman gets up on here, he goes for his body and he misses. Now watch the second time. You see him swipe for that throwing arm because he said you can be all right around Ben Roethlisberger's waist and he's big enough and strong enough to be able to get rid of the ball. So they have to go for the arm, and that's what he tried doing on the second go-around.
From 38 yards out, Sean Sweeten. And it is good. 9:09 to play in the first. Pittsburgh draws first blood. 3-0 in Atlanta. 60-yard drive ends up in a Pittsburgh field goal and a 3-0 lead. And when we talked to Coach Mike Tomlin last night and talked to him about having to kick to Devin Hester, he wasn't real thrilled about it, was he?
No, that's a very real threat when you look at the number of NFL records he has, Devin Hester does, on in the return game. And also, if he's not scoring, he's giving him good field position.
He's going to get a chance to return this one from about the 4. And Hester is brought down short of the 20-yard line. Good job by Shamarko Thomas on special teams. And a little bit of pushing and shoving, and that'll get broken up in a hurry as we take a timeout, and Atlanta gets its crack on offense as we continue here on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Amazon's new Fire HD, powerful tablet, endless entertainment. And by Honda, where you can get great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Yeah, baby.
The time-honored art of tailgating out there, and that big tall guy there, brother of our director, Suzanne Smith. Michael Smith, he just got all the height in the family.
Got a lot of good voodoo there too.
Steven Jackson off the right side for about 8 yards to about the 28-yard line. Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan coming up on 4,000 passing yards for the season. Good numbers, completing 65.5% of his throws, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and I thought he really stood tall in the loss at Green Bay.
He was under constant pressure, and when you're facing that pressure, especially in the cold of Lambeau, he did a tremendous job of standing in there and delivering up the field and putting them in position where they had a chance there at the end.
On 2nd and 2, it's Jackson again, and this time he will come up short for no gain. It'll be 3rd and 2. The offensive line has been a constant shuffle due to injuries. At left tackle, the first-round draft pick, Jake Matthews, and as we said, Julio Jones not in action today. Devin Hester getting a start in his spot at wide receiver.
We're looking ahead here, Greg, to 3rd down. It's 3rd and short, and with the Steelers putting together such a long drive, a time possession drive, Falcons really need to convert here on 3rd down, keep the ball away, look for them to do some underneath throws, crossing routes, and quick throw to the flat.
Ryan throwing sideline, that's complete. First down just across the 30, out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Devin Hester. On Pittsburgh's defensive front, Cameron Hayward, the team's sack leader with 5. Rookie Stephon Tuitt starts on the other side. James Harrison's knee has him sitting out today. Arthur Moats having a terrific year for Pittsburgh is starting today. And Ike Taylor had knee, forearm, and shoulder issues. He won't play. 60-year corner Bryce McCain starts for him. Ryan with time, crossing pattern underneath, complete, and across the 40-yard line is Harry Douglas. And that is going to be about a yard shy of another first down.
And the Falcons are trying to cause a little bit of confusion with that shifting and moving they do before the snap of the ball. You can see when Roddy White came to one side of the field, they were trying to shift coverage. And when you get them into man-to-man, as you know as a quarterback, when they're in man-to-man coverage and you have those crossing routes, you know where you're going to right away with the football.
On 2nd and 1, they'll go to Steven Jackson. Jackson will have the first down and more across midfield and into Pittsburgh territory to about the 46-yard line. Atlanta has been very good on opening drives lately. A touchdown in 4 of its last 6 games. They have 38 opening drive points this season, and that ties them for 3rd in the league.
We talked about Le'Veon Bell's vision and his burst. Steven Jackson recognizing that the hole was on the backside. He's able to bounce. Sees where he wants to run is covered, so he bounces it to his left and gets in the lane and is able to get upfield and pick up that first down.
First down Atlanta, Jackson again. Just inside the 45 to the 44-yard line.
When you saw there at the snap of the ball, all the defenders that were at or near the line of scrimmage, and Matt Ryan talked about that last night when he said, if they're going to bring that type of pressure, we have to be able to hit some big plays up the field. Now, obviously, they didn't know that Julio Jones wasn't going to play today, but still, when you get man-to-man coverage defensively, that's where some big plays can happen if you're an offensive player and you're able to win that one-on-one matchup.
Ryan on 2nd and 8. Just behind his intended receiver, Harry Douglas, at about the 30-yard line.
Good recognition by Matt Ryan, seeing the pressure, the secondary pressure was coming off of his left side, so realizing he had the one-on-one on the backside, just as you said, Greg, just not a very accurate throw. He had him there to make the play.
Rodgers in the backfield alongside Ryan. Almost fumbled the snap, and Ryan on the move. Has running room and now throws, and incomplete. Missed his man inside the 25-yard line. Roddy White was wide open.
And that's not a comfort zone for Matt Ryan. He does a good job of recognizing pressure and getting outside the pocket. He sees Troy Polamalu coming up to make the hit. Rolling to his left, that's a tough throw for anybody. And as I said, Matt Ryan's more known for his pocket awareness and his pocket presence when throwing the football as opposed to out on the run. But if you ask him, I'm sure he thinks he should have made that throw.
Matt Bosher will try to pin the Steelers down deep in their own territory. Antonio Brown stands at his 10. 27-yard line. So the opening drive comes up short for Atlanta. 5:04 to play in the first. Aerial coverage of our game today, high above the Georgia Dome, provided by MetLife. Pretty nice day out and about here in Atlanta, Georgia. A little chilly, though, to be honest.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
First down, Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Le'Veon Bell for a couple out to the 10-yard line. Hey, find the perfect gift for the sports fan on your gift list. Beat the crowds, get free shipping when you shop CBS Sports today. Take advantage of this offer now at cbssports.com/holiday. We were talking with Ben last night, Trent, about what a delight it must be for a quarterback to have as many options as he does and as many weapons at his disposal as he has.
Well, and his ability to spread the field. I know Antonio Brown, rightfully so, gets a lot of attention, but Heath Miller is a heck of a tight end, and you know the way they're using some of the young guys with the passing game as well.
This is Bell again, and Bell noses the football across the 15 to the 16-yard line.
And speaking of Heath Miller, not only what he does in the passing game, but what he does in the running game. You're going to watch here. He's going to motion over, and he's going to be one of the lead blockers through on this play. He gets right in there and is able to make contact on the linebacker, and that's what allows Le'Veon Bell to push that pile for 3 yards.
3rd and 2. Roethlisberger waits, dumps it off. Bell up the sideline. Penalty marker down. Bell inside the 50, inside the 40-yard line. Dwight Lowry making the tackle. And everybody's walking back in this direction. Cleet Blakeman is our referee today.
Well, and one of those young receivers I was just talking about, Martavis Bryant, appears like he's going to get called.
Mike Tomlin pleading his case.
There is no foul in the play for an illegal block in the back. Rockers to the shoulder. Arizona play will stand. First down, Pittsburgh.
So the teams will march it back in this direction. And that turns out to be a 44-yard pickup for the Steelers.
This is the play in question. They say he hits him with his shoulder. It looks like he hits him with his shoulder in the back, but they determined that it was a shoulder-to-shoulder, not a shoulder-to-back on Robert McClain.
What I found amazing about that was the Steelers were pretty resigned to the fact that it was going to be a penalty too.
They were all walking back. I think they were all were a little bit surprised with that.
Line of scrimmage now is the Atlanta 40-yard line. 3 minutes to play in the first. Roethlisberger, short pass, tight end, Heath Miller. Inside the 35, and we go inside the NFL today in New York. JB, Tony Gonzalez.
NFC South implications, Tampa.
Yeah, you're going to see Tampa. Josh McCown throws it up to Mike Evans, the rookie phenom, for the touchdown right there. That is his 11th touchdown this season. Tampa Bay up 7-3.
Back to Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Evan Washburn.
Boy, that Mike Evans, you know, there's a boatload of terrific young wide receivers in the NFL, and he may be the one leading the pack.
He's right near the top of the list, that's for sure, especially down in the red zone like we just saw there.
2nd and 2. Roethlisberger throwing sideline, complete, first down inside the 25 to the 23-yard line, Marcus Wheaton.
And that's what an effective run game does, is it keeps everybody near the box, and Just one-on-one coverage on the outside. Good timing throw. It's able to get both feet down. Wheaton with the concentration near the sideline.
Roethlisberger now 7 of 8 for 113 yards. Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Under pressure, and he's going to go down back at the 30-yard line. Paul Soliai, the first one to hit him. Trent, the question I had for you this weekend was if the Falcons couldn't pressure Aaron Rodgers last week, how are they going to get the job done today against Ben?
Well, I think it's important to understand with Aaron Rodgers, nothing against Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers is a little bit more mobile than Ben, and Aaron Rodgers gets outside the pocket. Soliai coming from the outside forces Ben to step up in the pocket, and that's as a defensive player what you want to do to quarterbacks. You want to make them step up into where all the garbage is, into where all the traffic is, and Rodgers last week was able to get to the outside, so it's important for the Falcons to keep Ben inside that area.
Roethlisberger going to go for it all down the far sideline. It is incomplete. Going airborne was Martavis Bryant, covered by Robert McClain.
When you constantly are putting bodies near the line of scrimmage like the Falcons have defensively, you're going to get some one-on-one matchups up the field. You almost could have called pass interference on the offense. Watch Bryant's left hand as he's inside the jersey of McClain.
A little boost, didn't he?
Yeah, he was able to lift up, and the official's right there. So, you know, every week we talk to the defensive players, and they complain about the offensive guys not getting called for it, and that was one right there.
3rd and 17. They need the 13-yard line for a first down. Quick pass. Antonio Brown. Brown met and hit hard at the 20-yard line. Kamal Ishmael, who's starting for the injured William Moore. Wow.
When you're in a long down and distance, you get the quick throw outside to Antonio Brown, and sometimes as a receiver you think it's a good idea to jump, and then you take a hit like that and you're like, maybe I should stay on the ground a little bit.
So this field goal attempt will come from 38 yards out. And he's already hit one 38-yarder today. And he's got another one. 2 seconds to play in the first quarter. 2 field goals on the board for the Steelers. They lead 6-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Game of War. Play free now. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Reminder for you tomorrow on CBS, these geniuses don't fit in the world, but they're the only ones who can say that. A new episode of Scorpion tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Just 2 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, and Devin Hester is deep. And let's just see if Mike Tomlin had a conversation with his kicker since the last time he kicked to Hester.
Yeah, last time giving him the ball at the 4-yard line. Now they did have good coverage. They were able to tackle him inside the 20, but
that's called tempting fate, isn't it?
Yes, that is. We see the drive right there that the Steelers put together, 5 minutes time of possession, but you and I were commenting at the break just how good of a job the Atlanta defense has done once they get down on their end of the field.
He gets to run this one back. Breaking to the outside, trying to turn the corner. And out of bounds just short of the 40-yard line. And with that, the first quarter comes to an end. When we start the second, Matt Ryan will have terrific field position. 6-0 Steelers. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The very talented wide receiver Julio Jones made his presence felt at Green Bay Monday night. No presence here today. He's sidelined with a hip injury. First down, Atlanta. From the Falcon 38, and Ryan to throw. Has time, throwing over the middle, intercepted. Picked off by William Gay. Gay to the outside. Cuts it back inside. 20, 15, touchdown, Pittsburgh.
That is William Gay's third interception return for a touchdown on the season, and Matt Ryan is under pressure. They decide to bring pressure, so it's man-to-man, and he gets locked in on Harry Douglas up the field. William Gay just reading his eyes, making a great interception using his hands and then allowing his guys set up the blocks. He made the nice cutback and was able to get it in the end zone, as I said, for the third time this season.
He returned one 33 yards against Indy, 28 yards against Tennessee, and now 52 yards, and the extra point is good. Start of the second quarter, a disaster for Atlanta. Now 13-0 Steelers. Steelers have put 10 points on the board in the last 16 seconds. William Gay with his third interception and his third interception return for a touchdown this season as Matt Ryan throws his 12th pick of the year. Once again, Devin Hester is deep. Now this time, short. And down at the 20-yard line, making the grab was number 98, Cliff Matthews. Let's go back to that pick.
Well, I go back to even the first quarter when they brought pressure. The Steelers are going to bring pressure from this side, but watch William Gay. He's going to float to the inside because going back to the first quarter when they brought strong side pressure, Matt Ryan tried throwing the skinny post on the backside. This time William Gay recognizing what they did in the first quarter, so he cheated inside and was able to jump that route before Harry Douglas was able to cross his face on that pass. So that's just good recognition by William Gay, understanding what the Falcons did the first time they ran that pressure.
So Atlanta now in a 13-point hole, and Steven Jackson with nowhere to go. His forward progress will be marked at about the 22.5 or 23-yard line.
And Greg, you and I had talked about the urgency about the Falcons really going into that last drive because their defense had done so well holding the Steelers to field goals. It was still a one-possession game. Now all of a sudden, with the pick six, you have to have a different sense of urgency on the offensive side, and you can see the Falcons going to a no-huddle.
Ryan, that's complete. And this is Douglas. And Douglas right about at that first down marker. Let's see if they give it to him. They do. It's a first down for Atlanta. Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator.
And I talked to him about this no huddle that the Falcons like to use, and you don't want to, when you're going no huddle, you don't always have to hurry up. You can go no huddle and use up the play clock as well.
Let's go Silver Flame! Silver Flame!
And prevent the defense from making adjustments.
It does. It prevents the complex blitzes and pressures that Dick LeBeau likes to use with the Steelers.
Ryan pulls it down, throws out here, complete to Rogers, and we get a penalty marker flying in from the secondary. And this is going to go against the Falcons.
Pass interference. Offense, number 83. The 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Harry Douglas.
Yeah, Douglas was sure that was going to be on the Steelers. He was applauding the flag and thinking it was going the other way, and he's the one that gets the call.
So it makes it 1st and 20. Devontae Freeman in the backfield. He's the one who gets the handoff and is running room on the right side across the 30 to about the 31-yard line. It's the last week to vote for the 2015 Pro Bowl. Select the best players regardless of conference. And then Chris Carter and Michael Irvin will draft teams as alumni captains. Vote now at NFL.com/Pro Bowl ballot. Voting ends Monday night. No, you cannot vote for Trent Green anymore. Freeman picked up 10. It's now 2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz. Ryan throwing up to about the 35. Roddy White went up and got it and then was hit hard from behind.
the Steelers bringing pressure. You could see it was coming off the slot, and they've had some success here. You're going to get pressure here, and you're going to get pressure here. So you're overloading one side of the offensive line from a protection standpoint, and that's why you don't have enough bodies to pick everybody up.
Roddy White with his first catch of the day. 3rd and 6. Here comes the pressure again. Ryan over the middle, and it was tipped on its way.
These pressures are causing some confusion for Matt Ryan and his receivers. Not sure what the adjustments to the routes are going to be. Obviously, the last series was a pick 6 because the secondary was jumping the route.
Antonio Brown is deep, as he's affectionately known on the Steelers, AB.
That's all they can talk about. AB, AB, AB. If we get caught calling an AB, that's why.
From the 12. 40. And pushed out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. More good field position for Ben Roethlisberger when we come back. Nice look at downtown Atlanta, Georgia. 11.5 to play here in the first half. Roethlisberger and the Steelers from their own 44, thanks to the nice punt return by Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell shaking 2 tacklers, or trying to, couldn't break away from Kamal Ishmael.
Ishmael playing in place of William Moore is able to get into the backfield and just isn't letting go of Bell's leg, allowing the rest of his teammates to get there and make that tackle.
Le'Veon Bell, 235 yards from scrimmage last week at Cincinnati. There's William Moore. Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Roethlisberger batted as it came out of his hands, intended for Bell. Tyson Jackson got a hand on it. It'll be 3rd and 13.
Tyson Jackson actually starts out getting double teamed. He realizes he's not going to get pressure on Roethlisberger as he's getting up the field. See the tackle pulling over, and Jackson recognizes he's trying to get to his check down and is able to knock the ball out of the air, forcing a 3rd and long.
You start thinking about that as a quarterback if it happens often enough?
You do if it starts happening. Yeah, you do. You start getting that in your head that you have to get different release points.
Short pass underneath, complete to Antonio Brown. And Brown is out of bounds. He will be out about 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, this is the 2nd time now the Steelers have been in 3rd and long, and they tried throwing a short underneath pass.
And they're going for it in a hurry right here, lining up for it on 4th and 2.
They're just trying to draw him off sides.
Roethlisberger backing up. And they're not going to snap it. They're going to let this time expire. And they'll kick it away. Good job on defense by the Atlanta Falcons.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
You said it, Greg. That's great discipline on the defense of the Falcons. Recognizing the Steelers, that's something that you work on as a team. That's one of those things you work on a Friday or a Saturday. You do the hurry up, you run everybody out on the field, and you try and catch the defense not prepared for it. What you're either going to do is force the defense to waste the timeout. That's one reason to do it. And the second reason would be if you can't get them to jump off sides and pick up an easy first down.
Pittsburgh even almost caught them with just 10 men on the field. Falcons had a late runner onto the field. Devin Hester deep. catch called for and made at about the 14 or 15-yard line. 9:49 to play. First half, Matt Ryan looking for points on the board for Atlanta.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Lincoln Wishlist event. Visit your Lincoln showroom today. Pepsi. Hype your hometown with Pepsi at pepsi.com/halftime. And by The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies, in theaters everywhere Wednesday.
Construction going on right next door on the new stadium going up here in Atlanta, set to be ready for the 2017 season, they tell us. Steven Jackson trying to turn the corner with a stiff arm, and it run out of bounds at about the, about the 17-yard line. William Gay, boy, what an impact he has made on defense this year. Picked off Andrew Luck, returned to 33 yards for a touchdown against the Colts. Returned to Zach Mettenberger interception, 28 yards, and then this thing here today. Kind of making himself a little mark for the Steelers, isn't he?
You know, he's having a great season, and being able to recognize what offenses are doing to adjust, and that's what he did today, is the adjustments that the Falcons made on the blitz pressure. Gay was able to jump the route knowing what the receiver was going to do.
Ryan got it away. Steven Jackson out across the 25 to the 28 for an Atlanta first down. Vince Williams making the stop. Steven Jackson in his 10th season out of Oregon State. He's been a very good back for a long time.
Very productive. He's currently the leading rusher all time in active players, over 11,000 yards rushing. But Matt Ryan, good recognition going through his progressions, knowing where his checkdowns are. We've made so much about Ben Roethlisberger getting down to his checkdowns. That time, good recognition, able to pick up the first down.
On first down, Ryan, deep drop, has time, throwing, and that's complete to Roddy White across midfield and into Pittsburgh territory at the 48-yard line. William Gay made the tackle on that.
This is just a dig route on the backside. Roddy White pressing up the field and cutting to the inside on the same page as Matt Ryan. Good pickup by the offensive line and pass protection with the pressure that the Steelers were bringing.
Roddy White told us yesterday that it's been a good week of practice. They brought a lot of positive things away from that loss at Green Bay on Monday night. On first down, this is Jacquizz Rodgers. Change of direction only gets him a couple of yards, or maybe one, to about the 47, where Lawrence Timmons makes the tackle. Tomorrow on CBS, a special holiday episode of NCIS Los Angeles. So full of surprises, everyone will be talking about it. A jolly new NCIS Los Angeles tomorrow at 10, 9 Central only. CBS. Number 94 being looked at on the sidelines. That is Timmons. On 2nd and 9, Ryan looks right, throws left. This is Douglas, and Douglas with running room inside the 40, and that'll be enough for a first down, and we get another update from New York once again. JB, Tony
Andrew Luck making amends, Greg.
That's right, JB. After that pick six earlier, he bounces back here, hits Akeem Nicks for the 26-yard touchdown. Houston, Indy, tied up in the second quarter.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
That Luck kid has a chance to make it. He's pretty decent. First down, Atlanta now moving deep into Pittsburgh territory, about to the 35-yard line. Troy Polamalu with the stop.
That was on the pass reception that he picked up the first down. Came off the field. Looks like he's ready to go back in, though. He's standing right next to receivers coach Terry Robisky, and you can see Julio Jones is in that picture as well, but Harry was trying to get back out on the field in that play.
So Eric Weems came off. Devin Hester went on as they continue to work on Lawrence Timmons on the sideline. 2nd and 8. Ryan hit hard. And here's a penalty marker thrown by Clete Blakeman. Jason Worlds came around the corner and hit him.
personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 93. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Let's take a look and see if he led with his helmet.
You're going to get coming off the edge here. This is going to be the hit. The penalty is either going to be with leading with the helmet or getting him up around the neck area. It wasn't clearly defined. But they're doing all they can, and as everybody knows, protecting the quarterbacks. That time there, Worlds had a chance to where he could have gone lower, but he made the hit up high, and that's going to draw a penalty every time, especially in today's NFL.
So instead of being a big loss, the ball now advanced to the Pittsburgh 21. Freeman around the corner and out of bounds at about the 15.
You know, I had a chance on Friday to talk with GM Thomas Dimitroff about Freeman and just the speed that he brings to the game. And, you know, Steven Jackson, we mentioned 10 years in the NFL, still can pound it in between the tackles and has a burst from time to time, but just that speed to get to the outside, that he was excited about the prospects of Devontae Freeman and what he can bring to the table because of that dimension of speed.
Thomas Dimitroff there standing next to the Atlanta Falcons corner, Parker Bryant. This is Freeman, and Freeman going nowhere. Brought down by Sean Spence, number 51.
Just a run to the left. He tries making the cutback to the inside, but Spence is lined up here. He's going to read what the play is, and he's going to come right through, and that's where the contact comes. Good recognition on Spence's part. Falcons not able to get, you see that combo block by the right guard and right tackle trying to get up to him. They weren't able to get a body on him.
Easy to play this game when you don't get blocked.
That's right.
3rd and 6. Ryan throwing, corner of the end zone. Caught! Devin Hester, touchdown! What a beautiful throw by Matt Ryan.
Great protection, good pickup on the pressure that the Steelers were bringing. You're going to see the pressure in the pocket presence and the way they're able to pick up the pressure coming from that right side. Putting it right in stride to Hester, recognizing what the play was, man-to-man coverage. As you said, Greg, excellent thrown ball.
85-yard drive. Devin Hester's 2nd touchdown catch of the season. Matt Ryan. And the kick is good. 4:19 to play in the first half. Devin Hester makes his mark on the receiving end. Number 17, Devin Hester, and the guy he's filling in for, helping to fill in for, right there in the cap, Julio Jones, not playing today. And interesting thing, Trent, is this game is not absolutely crucial to the Atlanta Falcons for winning the division.
Well, it's not crucial when you consider their next 2 opponents are division opponents, so that is more crucial. But you want some momentum as you're heading into the postseason, or in their case, as they're trying to win the division.
Marcus Wheaton takes a knee in the end zone. Roethlisberger and the Steelers from their own 20 when we come back to Atlanta.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by TD Ameritrade. And by Cialis.
Back in Atlanta, this is the way the NFC playoff picture looks right now. And you see New Orleans on the outside looking in. Atlanta in the driver's seat, as we said, even if they lose this game, because they win the next 2 weeks and they're in no matter what else happens.
I had to put a smile on my face when you said driver's seat in 5 and 8, but they really are in the driver's seat, especially, you know, the next 2 weeks they have New Orleans and Carolina to finish off the season.
You saw John Asamoah being helped off into the locker room. Roethlisberger, quick pass, up to the 40-yard line and across the 30 is Martavis Bryant for a first down.
They had so much success with that play a week ago against Cincinnati, and they just continue to go to it, especially when you have that man-to-man coverage or you get the zone man principle where they're running with the underneath coverage. You're able to get that slant behind it.
Forward progress at the 35-yard line, and again a little scuffling downstairs. This is how the NFC South breaks down the remainder of this season. You see the Falcons, after Pittsburgh, they travel to New Orleans, and then they're home to Carolina.
Right now Carolina's trailing Tampa Bay, so just to add a little bit more confusion to this division.
Down to Evan.
Greg, you saw John Asamoah heading to the locker room, right guard for the Atlanta Falcons. It's a back injury. His return is questionable.
All right, Evan, thanks.
And all the changes and problems they've had on that offensive line with injuries, Asamoah is actually the only one that started every game. So this just continues the woes as far as the offensive line and their health.
Doesn't look like the Steelers want to get a play off before the 2-minute warning hits, so 2 minutes to play here in the first half in Atlanta. 13-7 Steelers. And Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans in an AFC South clash on Thursday Night Football live on NFL Network, and the season wraps with a special Saturday edition. The Eagles at Washington on NFL Network at 4, and the Chargers at the 49ers on CBS and NFL Network, with coverage starting at 7:30. Football starts here. Roethlisberger on 3rd and 4. That's complete, and that'll be enough for a first down to Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield. He's been doing a good job receiving, but boy, he hasn't been able to run the ball at all today. 14 rushing yards for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and Le'Veon Bell now has 3 catches for 60 yards, but getting that man-to-man, you see him spread everybody out. All that did was give the key to Ben Roethlisberger that they were in man-to-man coverage.
Team with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Time for Roethlisberger. Threw it behind his intended receiver, and Lance Moore wasn't able to pull it in. 1:27 on the clock. 2nd and 10.
And that's just a miss on Roethlisberger's part. Moore going up that right seam. Instead of leading him, he puts a little bit on that back shoulder, and Moore's not able to make that adjustment before Ishmael comes up with the big hit, or potential big hit.
Put that in perspective, that 14 yards rushing for Bell. The Steelers come in averaging 124 yards a game rushing the football. 2nd and 10. Little pop underneath, and that was grabbed by Marcus Wheaton, and Wheaton into Atlanta territory and down about a yard short of a first down. And we get a timeout down on the field. Pittsburgh takes its first timeout and stops the clock with 1:14. Just a reminder, the Verizon halftime report upcoming. JB and the gang back in New York. Scores, highlights, preview of the special Thursday Night Football doubleheader this Saturday on CBS and NFL Network. Ball coming up. This is Bell. And Bell gets the first down to the 45-yard line. And again, we have another timeout taken by the Steelers. That's their 2nd. Can it be that play only took 1 second?
1:14 on the game clock. 1:14.
That's why Cleet's asking for an adjustment to the play clock.
I thought when we went, well, we went to commercial at 1:14, didn't we?
I know from a personnel standpoint that the Steelers brought on fullback Will Johnson. They brought an extra tight end into the game in Matt Spaeth, and anytime you bring in those big bodies, you got to anticipate they're going to try and grind it out and pick up the first down, which is what they did.
Pittsburgh down to one timeout now. They have a first down at the Atlanta 45. Steelers have managed just 2 field goals so far today. And the touchdown, which was returned by the defense, William Gay. Underneath, Bell. Inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. 65 seconds and counting.
At some point in time, you got to try and stretch the field a little bit. I understand you're ultimately trying to get into field goal range before the half. With the Falcons dropping 2 safeties deep this time, it'll be hard to push the field too far.
Roethlisberger completes this one. This is the first down to Heath Miller, just inside the 30-yard line, and a first down. And the Steelers in hurry-up mode right now. And Roethlisberger spikes the football. Croy Bierman just barely got back on side prior to that snap.
He was just taking his time there and finally recognized get out of the way.
Reminder once again, the Verizon halftime report coming your way with James Brown and the guys back in New York. Scores, highlights, playoff scenarios, all that good stuff. And a preview of Thursday Night Football doubleheader on Saturday on CBS and the NFL Network.
You can still use the middle of the field here with that one timeout and plenty of time to run up and spike it as well if you want to save it.
Roethlisberger going to go for it all down the far sideline, and it is caught by Antonio Brown, and he's out of bounds.
It looks like he gets both feet down. He has the 1 foot down, but watch the trail leg. It taps. You see the toe tap?
Yes, he did.
So since it's under 2 minutes, that'll have to be a booth review. Steelers sideline is going really slow, waiting for the call, and here it comes in.
The previous play is under review.
So they will take a look at this play. I think we'd be really surprised if they didn't say that's a legitimate catch.
You're going to see from a replay standpoint, Antonio Brown gets the left foot down and he's able to tap the right toe before he goes out of bounds.
That should be Clete Blakeman's call.
After review of the play, the receiver had firm control of the ball, 2 feet down in bounds, and he went out of bounds at the 1 yard line. It'll be first and goal from the 1 yard line.
Now this next angle we're going to show you, I want you to keep an eye on the official. He'll be in the top right corner of your screen. These guys have a hard job to do right here. That's the official I'm talking about. He has to not only look at the player's feet, but he also, you can see his eyes. He's trailing to see if Antonio Brown maintains possession of the ball. So he's got a lot of things he has to look at, let alone see that toe tap the way we did in slow motion.
So Roethlisberger has 31 seconds and 1 timeout, first and goal from the 1. Bell. Touchdown.
Great job by blocking by the offensive line. Good patience by Le'Veon to let that set up. It's Foster who comes around. Poland is able to kick it out and give him a lane to pretty much go untouched into the end zone.
You see the congratulations on the side aimed to Antonio Brown. What a terrific job he did with the footwork, making that catch to set up the touchdown. Sweetham's extra point is good, and with 27 seconds to play in the first half, Pittsburgh now jumps to a 20-7 lead.
This is the big play that sets up that touchdown run. Antonio Brown getting that second foot down. But I want you to watch left guard Foster. He's going to come over here and kick it out. Just a counter play with the guard leading through the hole. And that's why Le'Veon Bell's able to get into the end zone so easily.
Bell with his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. He's caught 3 touchdown passes.
You know, for the most part this season, DeCastro has been the guard. David DeCastro has been the guard that's pulling around on a lot of those counters and power plays. But Foster does it as well, as we just saw on that touchdown run there. The athleticism of their offensive line, talking to Todd Haley, that's the thing that he's impressed about. Not only are they, you know, they're bulldozers, they're big guys that can create those lanes, but they're athletic enough to be able to get out in space and allow you to run those types of plays.
One big play makes it all the difference in the world for the Falcons as they go in at halftime now, unless they can pull something off here. They do have Devin Hester deep, and Hester will not be able to chase that one down, and it'll go through the end zone for the touchback.
Well, with 3 timeouts, that's a lot of time, 27 seconds.
Saturday, it's the inaugural CBS Sports Classic as 4 of the most decorated programs in college basketball take center stage. First, Ohio State takes on North Carolina, followed by UCLA and the top-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. It all begins 12:30 Eastern Time with the road to the Final Four here on CBS.
Well, we saw kicker Matt Bryant kicking 60-yard field goals during warm-up, so with the 3 timeouts in 27 seconds, you can utilize all of the field. You don't have to worry about getting out of bounds because you got the timeout.
Ryan over the middle, that's complete. Devontae Freeman, and timeout is called to stop the clock with 21 seconds to play. And we have a Steelers slow to get up. Vince Williams. Gabe Karimi is in on the offensive line now in place of John Asamoah.
Want you to watch Williams there. He's on the side of the screen. He takes a hit from his own player. Lawrence Timmons comes in and
wow, and you saw his reaction as he rolled over.
It's never good when you see a player grab their head, although he was able to pop up right away and talk to the trainers when they got out to the field.
So they have 2nd and 1. And this is tight end David Toilolo, and can't reach the out of bounds marker, so the clock continues to move and now stopped with 11 seconds to play. These Atlanta Falcons were very, very upbeat when we talked to them yesterday. And, you know, like Mike Smith says, it's been a weird season, but it's nice to be where they are, all things considered.
Yeah, when you talk about, you know, they started off the season 2-1, had a big win on opening day against New Orleans, and then, you know, they had that stretch, about 5 games there of losing, and now all of a sudden these last 5 games, they've won 3 of 5, but offensively they're playing a lot better. Obviously they've had their struggles on the defensive side of the ball, but today they've performed, you know, doing a good job as far as stopping the run.
They have 1 timeout remaining. Ryan under pressure breaks through, and that's complete. Shaking away is Jacquizz Rodgers, and Rodgers out to the 45-yard line. Timeout stops the clock with 1 second to play. Boy, Ryan doing a little Houdini act in this backfield.
Well, when you're trying to get the ball up the field, I understand what Matt's doing. He doesn't want to have a turnover late here and allow the Steelers to get even more points going into the half, but 3 straight checkdowns in a row is using up a lot of time and using up your timeouts. And now, from your own 45-yard line, you've either got to launch one and try a jump ball in the end zone or hope for a pass interference call to extend it.
The Steelers 25 and 30 yards off the line. Ryan under pressure, on the move, and pulled down, and that'll end the half. Ryan Shazier, the rookie out of Ohio State, chased him down from behind. a lot of Steeler towels waving in the stands here.
Well, and a lot of times the defense in that situation rushes 3, but the Steelers aren't doing that.
Evan.
Well, Coach, you hold them to 7 and just 1 punt for your offense. How would you evaluate this first half?
You know, we did what we had to do. Obviously, I like to hold them out of that end zone when we down there playing red zone D. But I like our offense's response and working a 2-minute drill.
Can you say anything to Jason Worlds? That roughing the passer obviously set up that touchdown.
It's today's NFL, man. He's trying. He saw what he hit. He kept his eyes up. He didn't hit him in the head and neck area. We got to live with that. Everybody has to live with that. I'm for the protection of the quarterbacks.
Coach, thanks.
All right.
All right, Evan, thank you very much. That's the end of the first half. Pittsburgh leading it by a score of 20-7 here in Atlanta. We're back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. To Atlanta, Georgia, 20-7. The Pittsburgh Steelers are leading the Atlanta Falcons as we get set for the second half. And let's take a look at our Bose game changer. Atlanta quarterback Matt Ryan throwing. William Gay with the interception and returns it 52 yards for the touchdown, his 3rd pick 6 of the season. As the Steelers lead it by a score of 20-7, Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green. Look ahead to the second half. What do these teams have to do?
Well, I think it's important coming into this game. Pittsburgh, Le'Veon Bell was the 2nd leading rusher in the National Football League, but so far today he hasn't put up anywhere near the numbers that he needs. 17 yards on the ground so far in the first half. And for Atlanta, just like last week in Green Bay, they're going to have to start airing it out. Matt Ryan will have to throw the ball all over the place, but without Julio Jones.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice thing to do when you've got Julio out there, isn't it?
Well, you can all of a sudden stretch the field and get over the top. They haven't been able to get over the top today, and Pittsburgh's defense has been able to keep everything underneath.
Devin Hester deep. And he will not get a chance to run this one out of the end zone. As you look at first half numbers, you and I were talking, Trent, I thought that Atlanta's defense played very well, all things considered.
You know, considering the field position and the time and those things, they did a good job stopping the run. That was really what was most impressive. As we said, Le'Veon Bell only 17 yards rushing in that first half. Now, the pick 6 by Matt Ryan didn't help because all of a sudden you look at the score and it's 20-7. Well, you take away that pick 6, and you know this is a game that Atlanta is 1 possession away from tying things up. So it's important this first series that they go down and get some points.
Hester in motion. And throwing out to the far side for Hester. He's got running room. And Hester off to the races. Midfield. And down at about the 35-yard line, dragged down by Mike Mitchell. That's a good start.
Well, anytime you can get Devin Hester in space because of his speed, it almost turns into a punt returner. Roddy White on the outside with a good block, and becomes a punt return at that point in time once you get him in that kind of space.
46 yards on the first play in the second half. And the Falcons now down to the Pittsburgh 34.
Go get set. Get set. Ready. Hey, easy. Rock it. Rock it. Sunday. Gotta go.
Straight drop for Ryan, and Ryan throws. That's complete inside the 20-yard line to Harry Douglas. And another big gainer and another first down. That one is good for 16 yards.
The adjustment that they make at halftime earlier when Pittsburgh was showing pressure, they were throwing inside routes, skinny posts. That was the interception that William Gay got that returned for a touchdown. Now when pressure was up at the line of scrimmage, you could see Matt Ryan make an adjustment. We heard it in the audio, him making an adjustment at the line of scrimmage. Both receivers on the outside did out routes because the adjustment was with Pittsburgh's defenders being inside. Go ahead and take that out route.
Ryan now 9 straight completions throwing the ball. Jackson. Penalty marker is down as Jackson is down at the 20-yard line. Troy Polamalu crashing through.
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That penalty is on Justin Blaylock. Troy Polamalu is limping off the field.
63, Justin Blaylock, the left guard. He's the one that's going to be called on the holding.
You think?
Gets him right up around the neck. That tends to get called.
And Polamalu left the field limping, and Will Allen replaces him. Sideline pass, and Roddy White with the catch. And knocked out of bounds. Let's check in with Evan downstairs. Evan.
Well, Greg, this is the exact start that Mike Smith was looking for when I spoke with him. He said we have to start connecting on some of these plays offensively, the communication between Matt Ryan and the receivers. Now, defensively, too many yards in the passing game. He said they need to look to get more pressure on Ben Roethlisberger. How do they do that? They're going to designate somebody to spy and stalk Big Ben all this second half. Back to you guys.
All right, Evan, thank you. 2nd and 14. Ryan, and that's Roddy White again, and White lost the football, covered by Patrick DeMarco.
I'd be interested to see if Roddy White's knee wasn't down, or if he wasn't down before that ball came loose. Because he does this twist.
Oh, that ball was coming out.
Yep, it sure was. Good call on the field.
So despite the cynical Trent Green, the play stands.
Always got to be checking.
There you go. 3rd and 8. Ryan needs the 8-yard line for a first down. On the slant inside and to the 10-yard line is Harry Douglas. And 4th and 2, and he's going to send the field goal unit on. What would you think about going for it on 4th down here?
I think at this point in time of the game, you kick the field goal, you get the points, you make it a 10-point game. I agree with this decision.
So Matt Bryant, 23 out of 26 on the year. His 13th season out of Baylor. The 28-yarder is good. So Atlanta gets 3 on the board with 11 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. It's 20-10, Pittsburgh. Welcome back to Atlanta. Let's check in with Evan downstairs. Evan.
Well, guys, just an update on Troy Polamalu. He left the field there. It's just a right knee injury. His return is probable. It appears to be more muscular than structural. He was just massaging the back of his knee with the machine there. His return is probable.
All right, Evan, thank you. Marcus Wheaton in the end zone. And he'll bring this one out. Bursts through at about the 15 and out across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. Killer Bees in action today, Trent.
Well, Greg, you brought up in the opening about the Killer Bees with Ben. Right there, big completion to Brown. Getting Bryant involved, and Le'Veon Bell hasn't done a lot on the ground as far as the running game is concerned, but he has with the through the air. And Tony Brown with the big reception that sets up that touchdown run by Le'Veon Bell. Killer Bees are very integral part of what's going on for the Steelers today.
Right now they are looking at Josh Wilson on the field, who was shaken up on the last play. And we'll step away and check on him and be right back to Atlanta.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. The all-new Volkswagen Golf family, 2015 Motor Trend Car of the Year. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Little live performance at the Fox Theater here in Atlanta. That's not Grease, is it? It's not Saturday Night Fever, is it? Josh Wilson on his way to the locker room. We'll check on him. The Steelers from their own 26. And this is Le'Veon Bell. And Bell with running room up the middle and out across the 35 to the 36, and that's a first down.
And Greg, that loss of Wilson is a big blow to a secondary that's already without William Moore, already without Robert Alford. There's not a lot of bodies left back there in the secondary.
Number 28, Javier Arenas, taking his spot on the field. New set of downs for Roethlisberger. Bell again. And nothing doing for Bell this time. He'll be marked forward progress at the 38-yard line. Let's go down to Evan.
Well, Greg, that Falcons secondary, which is already thin, just got a bit thinner, at least for the moment. Josh Wilson headed to the locker room. It's a questionable return with a hand injury. I saw him working on what looked like his index finger, but they're reporting it as a hand injury, return questionable.
All right, Evan, thanks. There's William Moore, one of the starting safeties in street clothes today. 2nd and 9. Quick pass this side, Antonio Brown. And Brown dragged down at the 45-yard line. It'll be, and now we get a flag thrown and another flag thrown.
Well, I think they're ultimately going to be offsetting. I think the first penalty will be on Atlanta. The second one is a retaliation by Antonio Brown.
Retaliation hardly ever works, does it?
You're always caught.
Our referee today is Cleet Blakeman. And the discussion goes on. And on. And on.
The suspense is building.
There are 2 fouls against the offense on the play. We have a personal foul, face mask, number 84. That penalty's declined. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, number 84. That'll be 15 yards to the end of the run. The down will count. It'll bring up 3rd down.
So Antonio Brown, guilty not once but twice. Take a look.
First, Antonio Brown, watch his left arm. He extends into Trufant's face mask. That's the initial call. That one was declined because it would have kept it 2nd down. Now, after the play with taunting, that is it. Since the play is already dead, that's added on after the play. So that's why they accepted the 2nd penalty, making this 3rd and long.
They're backed up now to the 31-yard line, 3rd and 17. Roethlisberger going to throw it up down the middle of the field, and it's going to come up short. Number 10, Martavis Bryant, was covered by Robert McLean, and that'll bring the punting unit on for the Steelers.
Well, and that's just the amount of pressure that Roethlisberger, he really makes a blind throw, recognizing that there's no safety in the middle of the field. See all the bodies, they're up at the line of scrimmage. Normally you don't throw the ball down the middle of the field blindly, but knowing that there's not a safety there, he's just trying to get it as far as he can and hope he gets lucky hitting Bryant in stride.
Devin Hester with 14 career punt returns for touchdowns, an NFL record. And he'll gather this one in at his own 15-yard line and runs it out of bounds. So the Steelers special teams did a good job of cornering him on the near side of the field. 8:44 to play in the 3rd. Number 43, Troy Polamalu, back onto the field for the Steelers. Atlanta starts at its own 21-yard line with Steven Jackson off the right side for about 2. Gives us a moment to tell you tonight, our dangerously mentally ill patients denied care. A 60 Minutes investigation tonight only. CBS.
Well, Atlanta's defense came up with a big stop on the last possession. Part of that due to Antonio Brown's mistake after his reception. But now Atlanta, after going down to get the field goal, their opening drive, have a great opportunity here.
Threw that one away. That breaks his string of 12 straight completions. Here's James Harrison. How funny was Mike Tomlin in our meeting last night with Mr. Harrison?
Yeah, when he said he hadn't told James yet that he wasn't going to be playing, and so we promised that we didn't want to be the ones to break it to. We're like, Coach, you're on your own. You got to be the one to go tell him that.
He told us that James Harrison is not going to play tomorrow. And he goes, "Oh, I got to go tell him that." 3rd and 7. Ryan with time. This sideline, and that's complete, right on the money, across the 40, and out of bounds. Harry Douglas with the catch. Let's say go to New York once again. JB and Tony.
New England expanding its lead.
Yes, it is right here. You're going to see Tom Brady's going to turn around, hand the ball off to LeGarrette Blount. He's going to take it 3 yards for the touchdown. New England goes up in a good game right now, 21-13.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. As you see, New England in charge in the AFC East. A win, and they are in. And this is Steven Jackson, left side with running room. Midfield and to the 45-yard line. Hard running, Steven Jackson gets the Falcons a first down.
And that's always been his style, is how hard he runs, and he gets his knees high as he's going through the hole. It's hard to wrap him up, especially if you're trying to wrap up his legs because of the way he drives his knees upward. He's a powerful runner and still has some of that left in the tank.
Mike Mitchell limped off the field after making that tackle. And Will Allen replaces him at safety for the moment for Pittsburgh.
Sunday. Gotta go.
Ryan, this side of the field, Roddy White, and out of bounds inside the 40 at the Pittsburgh 39.
Right now, Matt Ryan seems real comfortable with how he's reading the Pittsburgh defense, getting his team into good and positive plays, recognizing the pressure. You can see they had to have made some adjustments at halftime with what they've been able to do here these first 2 possessions of the second half.
94 somebody. 94 somebody. We're going.
2nd and 4. Here comes the blitz, and Ryan escapes. Ryan, 30, and slides down inside the 30. Fans want a penalty marker. None forthcoming. Lawrence Timmons applying the hit as Ryan slid to the turf.
Well, it was good recognition by Matt Ryan. We heard him say at turning protection, we're going to go to the end of the play. He's already started his slide. That should be a penalty, and you can understand why the fans here in Atlanta are as upset as they are with the non-call.
From the 27. Ryan underneath. And close to the 20-yard line is Devin Hester. Look at the numbers for each quarterback today. Each of them up over 200 yards, and Mike Mitchell is back onto the field.
Well, you're going to see more and more out of Atlanta with that. I anticipate Pittsburgh trying to run the ball some more and try and use up some clock. But if Atlanta's able to go in and get a touchdown, then you'll see that continue.
Ryan has it batted at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Cameron Hayward got a paw on that. Atlanta 142 yards this quarter to Pittsburgh's 20.
Right in front of you here, this is going to be who gets in and is able to knock the ball down. Hayward is able to get up and get a hand on the ball. And Ryan does a smart thing by knocking it down, not catching it, taking a chance of losing some yards, but knocking it to the ground and giving him a 3rd and short.
3rd and 3. Here they come. Ryan throwing, complete. Roddy White has the first down and brought to a halt at about the 11-yard line by Antoine Blake.
Roddy White's in man-to-man, and the guy that's in coverage on him, that's why they do the shift before the snap, is he sees where Matt Ryan gets location as to where the coverage is coming from, and knowing Roddy White is on the drag route underneath, he knows that defender is way too far off and not going to be able to make the tackle before picking up the first down.
First and 10, Atlanta from the Pittsburgh 11. Pass near side, Devin Hester. Hester to the 5. Hester looking for the end zone, bumped out of bounds, close to the first down. He is about a yard short. Out of bounds at the 2.
When I thought Roddy White got away with a hold here, watch right there on your screen. You'll see 25. He's got Roddy White's got a hold of the jersey of Bryce McCain, and McCain's calling for that holding call, but the call does not come in, setting up the Falcons at the 2-yard line.
1 yard for a first down, 2 yards for a touchdown. Steven Jackson in the backfield. Jackson gonna lose yardage, back to the 4-yard line. Cameron Hayward with the first hit.
You're just gonna try and run off tackle. DeMarco, the fullback 42, is in on the play trying to kick out. He doesn't necessarily get his block. He gets beat to the inside. By getting beat to the inside, that forces Jackson to the outside where the defenders are waiting for him. And he has no choice but to end up losing a couple yards.
So 3rd and 3. 3 yards for a first down, 4 yards for a touchdown. Ryan throwing all by himself, and he overthrew it. And there's a penalty marker.
They're going to end up getting Harry Douglas on a pick. Big collision in the end zone. Devin Hester to the slot. He's going to be the one running to the corner of the end zone.
Pass interference, offense, number 83. That penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
So here's Harry Douglas. He's going to come inside. Hester's going to be running the rub route to the corner. I call it a rub route. It ends up being a pick because the flag's thrown here. Watch the block. You've got to sell that better if you're Harry Douglas. You have to be looking back to the ball. You can't put your hands on the defender the way that he did, and you can see 2 flags came in on that play.
Matt Bryant from 22 yards out. And the Falcons get 3 out of it. And once again, a 1-possession game, 20-13, Pittsburgh.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. And by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
Great view from up high on a great day in Atlanta, and our coverage of today's game provided by MetLife. Marcus Wheaton is deep for the Steelers. And will not run this one out of the end zone, so the Steelers will begin at their own 20-yard line. 20-13 Pittsburgh, 2:40 to play in the 3rd. Another good drive by the Atlanta Falcons, although it ends in 3 points, 6-minute drive. And a 20-13 Pittsburgh lead. Le'Veon Bell can't shake the tacklers. Thrown for the loss.
Great penetration by the Falcons. You can see coming off the ball on the snap is Hagman getting into the backfield and not letting go.
Trent,
got him wrapped up.
The Steelers have managed just 14 total yards this quarter. Atlanta's defense has done a remarkable job. Deep drop for Roethlisberger, has time, throwing over the middle, and he's got his man out close to the first down. That's Antonio Brown. That's
the problem if you give Ben Roethlisberger too much time in the pocket. allowing him to push the ball up the field, find that zone. Antonio Brown just on the dig route.
Third and very short yardage. 30 consecutive games with 5 or more catches and 50 or more yards. Bell showing that patience at the line of scrimmage and then dances for a first down. Josh Wilson on his way back.
Don't know if that's a cast or just a wrap that's on it.
Can they whip up a cast that fast?
I don't know. His facial expression doesn't look really good as far as him being anxious to get back out on the field.
We're in the final minute of the third quarter. Roethlisberger with all kinds of time, directing traffic and throwing it complete. Heath Miller to the 43-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons.
Great protection by the offensive line. This is a hard play fake. It's going to take a long time for Heath Miller to get open, and there's just no way you can give Ben Roethlisberger that kind of time. Bryant was on the outside on a deep post. That clears out the safety. That clears out the back end of the coverage, and Miller's able to just do a corner route.
And they are going to allow time to run down here in the third quarter. So we've played 3 here in Atlanta, 20-13 Steelers. We're back to the Georgia Dome after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back for the start of the fourth quarter, our producer Bob Monsbach, our director Suzanne Smith, the rest of our crew here in the Georgia Dome. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Evan Washburn. First down Steelers at the Atlanta 43. Roethlisberger again with time, wide open, hitting Martavis Bryant. He's out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. They're going to mark him out at the 13.
Once again, it's all about the pass protection. The Falcons have been so dialed in on trying to stop the run. So with the play action here to Le'Veon Bell, they're able to keep him out, push the ball up the field, and Wheaton get to that second level.
They used to call that a quarterback in the rocking chair back there. Ben Roethlisberger now setting a new Pittsburgh single-season record for passing yardage. 4,344 is not done. By the way, the Steelers have ran just 25 rushing yards today. Bell, left side, he's going to add to that. To the 5, to the end zone, touchdown.
This is going to be a counter. His footwork's going here, and he's going to come around to the outside. DeCastro pulls around. It's that counter power we talked about in the first half, where the guard's pulling. You're also bringing the backside tight end, or in that case, it was the fullback coming around who was lined up in a tight end or a wing position, sealing that edge and allowing Bell to get down the sideline.
Bell's second touchdown of the day. And the extra point is good. The 19th rushing touchdown allowed by the Atlanta Falcons this season. That's the worst in the NFL. Le'Veon Bell's second touchdown of the day caps an 80-yard drive. These Pittsburgh Steelers are something in the fourth quarter. They outscored Cincinnati 25-0 last week. As you look at offensive line coach Mike Munchak, his unit is done him proud today.
They've performed very well, and they haven't gotten the run game going, but they're doing what they need to, and they needed to respond to the momentum that Atlanta was picking up here in the second half.
Here comes Devin Hester. And Hester is dragged down at the 15-yard line by Shamarko Thomas. Next week, the Thursday Night Football season wraps with a special Saturday edition. It all starts with the Eagles traveling to Washington on NFL Network at 4, and then the Chargers visiting the 49ers on CBS and NFL Network with coverage starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Atlanta's still on the same mode they were coming out of the second half, and also a week ago in Green Bay. They have to continue putting the ball in the air and try to stretch the field.
Ryan running out of time, got rid of it over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Devontae Freeman.
See Ryan slow getting up off the turf, trying to hang in the pocket as long as he can to push it up the field before getting to the check down, but taking a lot of hits today.
Worth repeating right about now, Trent, that the Falcons can lose this game and still win the NFC South by winning the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks they got New Orleans and Carolina, and if you look at that, they're 4-0 in the division, so you never want to say a game is meaningless at this point in time of the season, but if they were going to lose one of these three, this would be the one.
Freeman out across the 20 to about the 23. Here's the schedule. The Carolina Panthers with a 6-point lead at home against Tampa Bay today. And New Orleans plays Monday night.
Well, and the Falcons beat the Saints 37-34 in week 1. And that matchup next week is what really carries a lot of importance as far as how this division goes.
Gonna run for it. Nice change of direction and slides down across the 35-yard line. That's a first down.
It's not something that he's ultimately very comfortable at doing. He has the speed to be able to do it. He's more of a pocket guy, would like to make his reads and make his throws, as he's proven over his years in the league. But if need be, he can go get it. He's smart enough to get down and slide and take the big hit.
Ryan throwing it away on this side of the field. Harry Douglas, the near receiver. Atlanta 4-0. 4 of their 5 wins in the NFC South. You know, we were talking with Coach Smith and said, would you feel badly about winning the division with a sub-500 mark and hosting a playoff game? He said, heck no, I've gone on the road with an 11-5 record and gotten beaten by teams with sub-500 marks. Right over the middle, and he's got Douglas across the 45 to the 47-yard line and a first down.
Steelers have done a good job. They don't have any sacks of Matt Ryan today, but they're bringing pressure, so they overload a certain side of the protection. So even though they may be rushing 4 or 5, which normally you could pick up, but by overloading one side, that makes it hard, and that's why they're able to get the pressure on and drop guys into coverage, making the passing lanes tough for Matt Ryan.
This is Jackson. And Jackson can't make that cut back inside before Lawrence Timmons brings him to the turf. These guys have gotten into the postseason. Gosh, the Broncos back in 2011 at 8-8. Seattle at 7-9. Chargers and the Browns. And what we're saying is Atlanta could lose here today, fall to 5-9. And win the division at 7-9.
You got to remember that 7-9 Seattle team beat New Orleans at home in the first round of the playoffs.
Quick pass to Douglas. Douglas, 45, 40, up the sideline. And knocked out of bounds inside the 10. Mike Mitchell saved the touchdown.
It's your quick throw, wide receiver screen, just getting it to the outside. You're going to see on the outside here, you got to have all three of these guys. You have two blockers, you have the one, then you have the lineman pulling out as well. So not only does Douglas have the help of his two receivers out there, but then you can see the tackle get out in space, creating a lane for him.
And Mike Mitchell is being attended to just onto his feet now. We'll take a break.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Walmart, where you'll find unbeatable prices on this year's top gifts. Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
The well-named ugly Christmas sweater run in Piedmont Park yesterday. First down at the 11-yard line. Ryan on the quick slant, incomplete. Roddy White couldn't hold on. It'll be 2nd and 10. And William Gay applying the hit. And on the sideline, Mike Mitchell sidelined for the second time today. Will Allen has replaced him on the field.
Well, the Steelers bringing pressure, getting that isolation on the backside, and just a little bit too far in front of Roddy White. He can't bring it into his body before Gay knocks it loose.
How about Eric Douglas today? 8 catches for a season-high 123 yards. Named him earlier as one of those that had to fill in for the injured Julio Jones. Jackson, right side, trying to turn the corner, inside the 5 and out of bounds.
It's amazing the way these Steeler fans travel. As the Falcons are getting to the line of scrimmage, you can hear the chant of defense go up, making it hard for the home team to hear. Nice seal on the edge, allowing Jackson to get to the outside.
Even Ben Roethlisberger, when we talked to him last night, shaking his head about the way these Steeler fans travel.
Lots of support everywhere they go in the country.
3rd and 4. They can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Ryan, end zone, touchdown! Roddy White.
Roddy White is matched up one-on-one with Antoine Blake on the outside. You see him at the top of your screen right here. Just going to be on a slant route. Pretty generic route. Outside guys run slant, inside guys run flats. It's a combination read for the quarterback.
What a great job of standing in under the coming pressure, too, by Matt Ryan. 4 red zone trips for the Falcons today, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and with 10:21 to play. In regulation, the Steelers 27, Atlanta 20. 10-play, 84-yard drive, and Roddy White with the 4-yard touchdown catch. And a team record 62nd career touchdown to pull the Falcons to within 7. Wheaton from the goal line. And comes up about 2 yards short of the 20-yard line. Eric Weems with the special teams tackle. Next Sunday on CBS, an important doubleheader. We will follow these Pittsburgh Steelers back to their town as they take on the Kansas City Chiefs. In Game 2, Andrew Luck and the Colts take on Tony Romo and the Cowboys in Dallas. And it all begins at noon Eastern time. JB and the guys having way too much fun back in New York on the NFL Today. That's all next Sunday here on CBS.
You think they just walk around and have people throwing confetti at them?
And food. Food. They eat well, make no mistake. Steelers from the 18. Roethlisberger, quick pass. Antonio Brown. out of bounds at the 30 for a first down. Let's go down to Evan.
Well, Greg, as this Steelers secondary is being exposed here in the second half, Mitchell is a questionable return. Mike Mitchell, a questionable return with the groin. Palomalu was spending a lot of time being stretched out. Remember, he was banged up earlier with the left knee, and Mike Tomlin came over and had some strong words for the entire group. They've been huddling up. They're trying to make adjustments down here.
Evan, thank you. Antonio Brown just set a new Steelers single-season record with his 113th catch of the season. He has 8 of them today. Roethlisberger throwing this way, and that is complete. And that's Martavis Bryant. Boy, this Pittsburgh offense just keeps on coming.
They do, and they can attack from so many different ways. We've mentioned several times in the broadcast that they haven't been able to run the football very well. Atlanta has done a good job of, with their run defense, limiting Le'Veon Bell to 38 yards. There's Todd Haley, talked to him last night about the way they can attack teams, the way they can attack through the air, the play action pass, moving around, and that's the advantage of having this squad that he has.
This is Bell. That little hesitation got him nothing. Troy Bierman making the stop. It'll be 3rd and 7 as they are slow to unpile. And now comes a pretty big defensive play for the Atlanta Falcons.
And if you think about what the Falcons have done in these situations earlier today, they've decided to bring pressure and go to some man-to-man matchups. What that does is it creates some mismatches for the Steelers if you're not able to get pressure on Roethlisberger in a hurry. Look at all the bodies near the line of scrimmage.
Very tight coverage up front. Play clock, and Roethlisberger wants a timeout. Running out of time on the play clock. They use their first timeout here in the second half. It comes with 8:10 to play in the fourth.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Intel. This is where it all changes. And by Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever.
Back in a noisy Georgia Dome in Atlanta. 8:10 to play here in the fourth quarter. Mike Nolan, defensive coordinator for the Falcons. Big down here for Atlanta.
No safeties back here, no safeties. They got a cover 0 look.
Under pressure, the pass, underneath, complete. First down yardage for Pittsburgh's Marcus Wheaton.
When you go to that type of coverage, you're going to have a defender drop out. You're seeing 41 drop back to the deep safety. He's near the line of scrimmage, southward is. With those crossing routes and rubs underneath and man-to-man coverage, you better get to Ben in a hurry. And that time there, offensive line gave him time to work through the progressions and find his matchup that he liked to get the first down.
Pittsburgh keeps the drive alive, keeps the clock moving. 7:40 to play in the fourth. They'll go back to Bell, who has not had much of a chance to get anything going today. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, but they've been short yardage.
Well, the Steelers lead the league in time of possession, and even when they go to a hurry-up where they get up on the line of scrimmage, they're continually running that play clock down, and now after picking up that crucial first down, you mentioned it, Greg, now we're just about to approach under 7 minutes. They want to continue using the clock and keep the ball away from Atlanta.
By the way, we were talking about if the Falcons win the next 2 weeks they're in, 3 wins equals the postseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. 2nd and 9. Got rid of it, incomplete. Ben just kind of shoved that out of there under pressure.
And that was a great play by Warlow. Able to knock that ball loose.
AFC playoff picture. There's Pittsburgh sitting in the first wild card spot. Cincinnati winning at Cleveland. San Diego hosting Denver later today. 3rd and 9. And the chance for the Falcons to make another defensive stop right here.
Well, and in this situation, the Falcons have been going to a lot of cover 1, cover 0. See if they don't change it up and go to a zone, try and rally and make the tackle before they get the first down.
Good protection for Roethlisberger, who throws. It is incomplete. Lance Moore trying to make the diving catch. Couldn't come up with it.
They do end up dropping into a zone coverage. But it ended up being a zone with a man principal underneath, and Moore is the inside guy. He's running a wheel route up the sideline, just a little bit too far out in front.
That's a great effort by Lance Moore. Devin Hester. Fair catch called for. And he makes the catch at the 17-yard line. 6:23 to play in the 4th. By the way, NFL fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLshop.com today to save 20% and get free shipping over $50 at the official store of the NFL. So Matt Ryan on offense, what's worked for him today? What's he likely to go to right now?
Well, he's got to keep it in the air. They've had some success running the football. Steven Jackson, 46 yards on the ground, averaging over 4 yards a carry, but 305 yards already through the air. He's been able to do a good job pushing the ball up the field when he's had time. Now the Steelers have brought a bunch of different types of pressure that have caused him problems when he's been under pressure.
He started off throwing the football with time and overthrows Harry Douglas on the near sideline. It'll be 2nd and 10. A reminder, coming up on the Subway postgame show, JB and the gang, all the scores and highlights and playoff scenarios all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Here in the second half, Atlanta has driven 70 yards for a field goal, 75 yards for a field goal, and an 84-yard touchdown drive.
Well, we had the chance to talk to Matt Ryan about it. You said with a team that likes to bring pressure like Pittsburgh, you put a bunch of guys out in the route, you know you're going to get hit, you just get the ball in their hands quickly and find the matchup, or you keep more bodies in to protect. They've tried changing it up quite a bit today.
Mike Mitchell back on the field for the Steelers, and that short pass across the 20 to the 21-yard line to Harry Douglas. That will create a 3rd and 6 with 6 minutes to play.
We need to anticipate the Steelers are going to overload pressure. That's what they've done on most of the 3rd downs today, is they'll try and rush 4 from one side and get you overloaded with your pass protections, leaving man-to-man on one side and zone principle to the other. So you need to get some crossing routes with somebody at depth in the middle of the field.
Doesn't look like much of a pass rush shown here. 4-man rush. Ryan underneath. Douglas cut down at the 25-yard line. That's 2 yards short of a first down. So Mike Smith is going to kick it away. Atlanta with all 3 of its timeouts remaining.
As you said, Greg, all 3 of your timeouts remaining. 5 minutes left in the ball game. 2-minute warning still to come through. This part of the field, you've got to punt it away and count on your defense to come up with the stop.
Antonio Brown deep. Turn the corner, he'll run out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Remember, Le'Veon Bell told us last night he's like a running back once he gets his hands on the football. Week 15 continues later today on Fox. And then tonight with the Cowboys and the Eagles on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for the Saints and the Bears on Monday Night Football on ESPN. I don't think anybody who's seen AB run with the football would argue much with that.
Yeah, you can't argue. When he gets the ball in that open field, it's pretty special. But now if you're the Falcons, you have to decide, do you bring the pressure and leave yourself exposed to a big play? I think at this juncture of the game, you do have to take that risk They haven't done that a lot today, unless it's been third down where they've had to take that risk. But
when do you start using your timeouts?
Yep, you have to start saving some time, and you realize the Steelers are going to try and milk everything they can.
Bell for a couple. And the clock continues to move. 4:25 to play in the fourth.
Very impressed with what the Falcons have done on run defense, holding Le'Veon Bell to under 3 yards a carry.
Lisa Bell Russell, Le'Veon's mother. We asked him, is Mom going to be there tomorrow? He go, oh yes, no question. 2nd and 7. Roethlisberger pulled it down twice, and then the pass for Antonio Brown, who fights to stay in bounds. Javier Arenas coming up to make the tackle.
And Croy Bierman gets upfield and has a chance to knock it down. He actually jumps in the air twice. Roethlisberger with the sidearm throw underneath him.
What kind of stickum does he have in his hand to put it out there and bring it back? There's Troy Bierman.
1-2 pumps. There we go, underneath. You'd think that many pumps that the Falcons would have reacted and gotten out to Antonio Brown quicker, but he was able to pick up a couple of yards getting to the outside.
3rd and 3. Here come the Falcons after Roethlisberger. That pass is incomplete over the middle. And a flag on the near side of the field.
They're going to get Trufant with an illegal bump on Antonio Brown.
Illegal contact, defense, number 21. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
You're going to see it here at the bottom of your screen. Right here, the matchup that gets the call. Trufant hanging on to Brown way past the 5-yard mark.
And the killer for Atlanta is the automatic first down.
Well, the killer was he wasn't even part of the route. That wasn't even part of Ben's read. It was really a rub route with Bell underneath. That allows him to pick up the first down.
Bell straight ahead. And timeout is called on the field. Taken by Atlanta, their first timeout taken here in the second half.
Here's the penalty we just had on 3rd down. He's going to run to the outside. Brown is, and Le'Veon Bell's coming up here, and that's who they want to go to. This is the guy that's in the route that they want to go to, but it's the holding call right here on Trufant, or the contact past 5 yards, that's what's going to get called. So even though it wasn't near the play, they're going to call that for the contact past 5 yards.
So both teams now down to 2 timeouts remaining. 2:55 to play.
They're going to a zone here. You can see right here, they just walked the linebacker out top. You got a safety over the top.
Roethlisberger throwing, and he finds that spot in the zone defense, Antonio Brown, and that's complete for a first down. And timeout is called with 2:49 on the clock. Just a reminder, coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB and the guys in the studio for all the latest scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Antonio Brown now with 10 receptions for 123 yards. His longest catch of the day is 28. He hasn't been able to get over the top, but they've been utilizing him underneath with the ability to make some yards after the catch.
He needs just 2 yards for 1,500 on the season. That would be a brand new Steelers record. Bell, running room left side, spins his way out to, or down to the 45-yard line, and another timeout. Atlanta uses its 3rd and final timeout to stop the clock with 2:42 and It's been another good day at the office for Antonio Brown, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just got through mentioning his numbers. Those 10 receptions for 123 yards. Doing the quick screens, getting to the outside. The big catch was down the sideline right before the half. This one right here that sets up the touchdown run by Le'Veon Bell, but just he is so crucial and he's utilized in such a way that the defense always has to recognize and know where he is on the field. You just got through mentioning Le'Veon Bell talks about him being a running back when he gets the ball in his hands. He's such a hard worker. The coaching staff says nothing but praise about his work ethic.
Now, what do the Falcons take away from this game should this score stand up? The fact that they accounted well of themselves on the field without Julio Jones, and they can still win their division with 2 games in 2 weeks.
Well, I think they have to be happy with the way they've played, but by no means are they giving up at this point in time. They still want to get out the win today.
All by himself on the far side of the field. That is caught by Bell. The Falcons have forced 16 fumbles this season, looking for another one there.
Well, it's all going to come down to this play, and you're really with the field position that the Steelers have, they almost have 2 downs to go for it. It's going to take it to the 2-minute warning. They pick up the first down, the game can be over. You can just kneel it and run out the clock.
The Falcons are out of timeouts. 2-minute warning in the 4th quarter. Steelers by 7. All Matt Ryan can do is hope for one more chance. 3rd and 1. If the Steelers get themselves a first down here, they can just simply take a couple of knees and run out the clock.
Wouldn't be surprised if they go back to that counter power with a guard pulling.
Roethlisberger, and wide open. The catch is made inside the 20-yard line by Heath Miller. What a call.
You know, all that can say is over on the sideline, they must have decided if they're going to pass it on 3rd down, that meant they were going to go for it on 4th down. Heath Miller is on the backside here. He's just going to leak out and do the corner out, the play fake here and coming around to the outside. You see the flow of the defense. They're all biting on the run. Roethlisberger just has to put it out in space, and Miller secure the catch.
And that's what you call the game winner. Atlanta unable to stop the clock. And the Steelers with a giant step forward in their race in the AFC North. And look at the towels waving away here in the Georgia Dome.
Well, like we've already stated a couple times, Greg, even though Atlanta came in here and gave it a valiant effort and they played a solid ball game, this season by no means is it over with. They can win these next 2 ball games and still win the division.
The Steelers move to 9-5. Cincinnati with a win on the table, leading Cleveland 30-0. And that will do it here in Atlanta. Valiant effort by the Falcons, but the Steelers prevail by a score of 27-10. Atlanta falls to 5-9, still can win twice in the next 2 weeks and win the NFC South. That falls under the strange but true category. Once again, our final score here in Atlanta, Georgia. The Pittsburgh Steelers 27, the Atlanta Falcons 20. Coming up next, it's the Subway postgame show. For Trent Green, Evan Washburn, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew here in Atlanta, Greg Gumbel saying so long from the Georgia Dome. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Don't go away. The Subway postgame show comes your way right after this.